We begin with this Fox News alert. We're actually awaiting a news conference right now, this hour, from the police department in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota. And it follows that violence which broke out last night during protesting over the police officer-involved shooting of 20-year-old Dante Wright. You can hear one of the people there saying that it felt like a war zone in that suburb of Minneapolis. Police fired off tear gas to try to manage the crowds. And we have brand new video of looters breaking into and destroying local businesses with property damage at some 20 stores in a mall. The state is sending in the National Guard to help deal with the chaos, and more troops are now headed there. They say they are escalating into phase 3 with that response. And with tensions already so high in the area, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz tweeted this: "I am closely monitoring the situation in Brooklyn Center. Gwen and I are praying for Dante Wright's family as our state mourns another life of a black man taken by law enforcement." His quote. You're watching Outnumbered. I'm Harris Faulkner. Here today, my co-hosts, Emily Campagno and Kayleigh McEnany, host of Kennedy on Fox Business, Kennedy herself. And joining us on the virtual couch today in the center seat, Fox and Friends weekend co-host Pete Hegseth. Great to see everybody. Pete, I'm going to start with you. So, you know, and I had the tweet up from the governor. We can start there and just what is helpful and what is not. Always best to wait for the facts.
File that one under not helpful. The idea that your tweet says another life of a black man taken by law enforcement. He doesn't know what happened. Neither do we. We're told there's body cam footage, which means we will get probably, presumably, eventually a firsthand look of what occurred. But what we believe we know, and we'll learn more at this press conference, is there was a traffic violation where they identified there was a warrant out for this man's arrest. There was some form of resisting that arrest, and then unfortunately there was an officer-involved shooting. We don't know. We don't know anything other than that. And so when the governor tweets something like that, that comes on top of the irresponsible ways in which leaders in Minnesota, like Attorney General Keith Ellison, Representative Ilhan Omar, the Mom Jean's baby mayor Jacob Fry of Minneapolis, who are fundamentally unserious. No, really, they're unserious in the way they've approached this, and they've demeaned their local police department. And this comes as Derek Chauvin's trial is ongoing right now with George Floyd. So there's already a heightened sense of fragile civilization there in the Minneapolis area. You know this area well, Harris. You were at KSTP in Minneapolis. I've spent a lot of time in that area as well. This is not what Brooklyn Center looks like, and it's because leadership there is not responsible.
Well, and look, I was just talking with Larry Kudlow on Faulkner Focus just a couple minutes ago, and we were talking about how businesses need to survive right now so that we can go forward with our workforce and better times can come, post-pandemic, all that. Yet 20 stores estimated in this one location destroyed. Those were the words in local reports. I mean, you know this area well, too. Just one last thought from you, Pete, and I'm going to go around the horn.
You know who loses in this? Law-abiding citizens who rely on the police department as that thin line to maintain. You want people pulled over for violations, you want warrants enforced, and you want police empowered. And mistakes will happen. And if that happened in this case, justice should be served. Otherwise, when you remove that, citizens who own these businesses that you're looking at right now, this liquor store, and live in these communities are under threat because criminals feel empowered. And the epicenter of that right now is Minneapolis. And it's a scary place. I've been there recently. It is not an okay environment. And with that trial going on, it's a tinderbox.
You know, Kennedy, I'm curious about how we keep getting back to this reflexive nature. Because it's one thing to march and to protest. And again, Dr. King did not march at night. You know, he was on in the daytime, and so people could join in, so on and so forth. You get your message out. What message does this get out?
That we do not have respect for other people's property. That's the message. And if you're outraged, then act on that outrage to change the system. This is not changing the system. All this is doing is reinforcing the old system and making sure there are more police, because when things fall apart and things get more dangerous and, you know, people are worried that a cop's not going to be there when they call 911, what happens? People vote in different city council members and different lawmakers who make sure that their streets feel safer. How do people do that? By hiring more cops. So they're going to refund the police as they have in various cities. But to Pete's point, there are obviously problems here. There is obviously still a lot of active anger, and there is a sense of unfinished business in terms of the criminal justice system there. I would obviously defer to you and Pete, because you both have lived there. Pete, obviously born and raised there. But this is not how you achieve reform. This is not it. This is not what it looks like, and stop trying to make looting an acceptable form of protest. Looting and protest, two completely different things. This is also not protest.
Yeah, you know, Kaylee, as I come to you, and it can be Minneapolis, it can be Seattle, it can be anywhere. There is a preachy crowd in America that says, oh, you got to sit down and kumbaya and do all of that. Usually that's on the left. It can come from anywhere. This might be an opportunity for Republicans, because there's nobody in the streets trying to help organize this. And I'm wondering, do you go there and do you do what the preachy crowd always says they're going to do and make it better?
Look, this should be called out. I've been to a damaged area of our country after a riot, Kenosha. I went there with President Trump and saw a business literally grazed to the ground, a family business. It's devastating in these communities. I've also seen a media that ignores it when it happens, and sometimes even enables it when you have individuals like Chris Cuomo saying, where does it say that protests have to be peaceful? Well, I'll give him an idea. The First Amendment of the Constitution, where it says you have a right to peaceably assemble. I've heard Don Lemon say that riots are a mechanism for changing the country. That's irresponsible rhetoric that just fuels this, not just ignores it, but fuels it. And look, the families who have lost loved ones have called this out themselves. Katie Wright, the mother of this young man, said this helps no one. We've heard George Floyd's family saying, you know, rioting is not going to bring my brother back. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what they've said. These families have called it out. And one last point just to make. This comes in the context where in New Mexico, we've lost a police officer. And of course, we're waiting for all facts to come out in every situation. But in that instance, there's a video of this police officer being gunned down. And I just want to take a moment to say his name. His name is Darian Jarrett, because we never, ever recognize the names of police officers who have fallen. He was 28 years old, a salutatorian, a family man, a father of 3, and had a little one on the way. Darian Jarrett is a hero, and that's most of our police officers in this country.
Yeah, you know what? I do want to pause for a second. We looked at this last hour, but there were 2 other incidents, too. In Long Island, New York, an officer is fighting for his life today after being stabbed by a drunk driver during a traffic stop on Saturday night. And just today in Georgia, multiple police officers were shot during a police chase. It's unclear how serious those injuries are at this time, but as I promised the viewers last hour, we'll continue to update everybody on this. There is a flip side to what we see in law enforcement throughout all of this, and that is they continue to do their jobs, and what they do has become complicated and more dangerous along the way. Emily, we know from our own town halls on Fox News, one of which I hosted, that police officers are facing a whole lot. Their suicide rate is up. And in addition to that, calls for social justice, as Pete pointed out, in those situations where they don't go the way that they should.
Right. Police officers are dying by suicide. They are being mocked, taunted, stabbed, and gunned down in public. Meanwhile, the state is removing their protections. This is not police reform. We are watching a war being waged upon them. To what end? Is this community division or is this community building? Because to me, it's the former. I'd like to make a point on our first topic there, because I'm from the Bay Area, I live in Seattle, and I have family in Portland. We have been watching as urban destruction has been downplayed and ignored and justified by the mainstream media, by social media performance activists, and now by politicians. Small businesses being burned and downtowns destroyed, that's normalized. It is accepted. It is expected when incidents like this happen. And meanwhile, the only destruction that continues to be condemned or remains condemned by the left is the insurrection. And that tweet by the governor there in Minnesota, that is escalation. That is incitement. And if part of police reform is de-escalation training, then shouldn't these elected leaders be leading by example? Shouldn't they be putting out the fire, not stoking it?
Hear, hear.
Well, and if you can't be neutral, be silent. Right? I mean, we don't have to tweet everything. right? If you can't help de-escalate, don't jump in.